because first of all, we should remember that this was a presidential advisory committee. They were supposed to have gone around, collected what people thought, and collect their findings and give it to the president. Does the public have a business with what the committee advised the president on?
I think we need to know. We are made to understand that there is a conference.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we should be able to know the content of the submission of the report of the conference. There should be a white paper on it.
Not the conference. It's not the conference, yes. It's just the Presidential Advisory Committee finding on what Nigerians want. Or you want to see to know if that was what you truly recommended, but you have to bear in mind that many other recommendations were made.
Well, at least they should have to tell us what the findings are. Because I will created all the reports. I will go out by the committee. The Presidential Advisory Committee will now look into it and advise the president on which way forward. Exactly.
So you want to know the advice that has been given the president? Is that what you're asking?
It doesn't need to be made public. But certain things have to be done to make sure that some of the things have been adhered to.
So you don't really want to know, you just want to see.
If we made it public, we want to know. We would love to know if we made it public.
Okay.
Let me bring in this before we go on. Remember I told you, look, it wasn't just in those states. Now, Omar Usule says we should also be reminded that Grace Banks, Yoruba woman from
Adamawa,
was elected senator in Adamawa. And then Amakri also says the Commissioner for Commerce in Rivers is Delta. And the examples abound. So we can do these things in this country.
I understand, I know. But most of those you're talking about has to do with personal relationship.
Initially, you said it couldn't happen. Now you say it's personal relationship.
No, it could happen.
Not on performance basis?
It's on personal basis. If you have lived in a place for 40 years, you can ascribe to be a product of that state. And you have contributed your quota. You can aspire to be anything. That's what we're talking about. That once you live in a particular state, you should not be thinking about, look, where are you from? If you call an American man today, where are you from? American.
So are you suggesting that if this conference doesn't happen, we can't live peacefully?
We can live peacefully.
Well, what are your projections? Sorry to interrupt there, but what are your projections for 2014? You've talked about the national dialogue, which is one of the things you're hoping will happen. What else are you saying will happen in 2014?
I don't think there will be any problem in 2014. There won't be any problem in 2014 because, first and foremost, we should all learn how to live together. And if the umpire, which is the INEC, do the right thing, there won't be any problem.
Okay.
If the materials are right, the polling booth at the earliest time enough for election to take place, not what happened in Anambra State. We have an election in Ekiti, for example, in June. So if all hands are on deck, and all these things are being put in place, and there's transparency in the affairs of the INEC, there won't be any problem.
Some people.
This election coming up in Ekiti will be a test case for INEC.
Some people are not just talking about, when we're talking about projections, we're not just talking about problems. I mean, it could also be the good side of things that you see that will come in 2014. But some people are already saying that from what they see, it's only going to be politicking and there will hardly be any governance. Do you see that as well?
Now, what is on ground is politics. But a lot of people are focusing on politics. There are other things that we should look at. We should look at the economic aspect of it. We could look at other security aspect of it. But basic thing now that people are interested in is politics. Everywhere you go is politics. More especially a state that is being affected, a state that they are looking forward to have an election. So what they are thinking about is now politics.
So that's what you're seeing as well?
Yes, I'm with politicians. I have to look at it from that angle as well.
So that means, well, let me bring in Dabila's question, because he also says, look, the problems facing us are obvious. Poverty, unemployment, basic amenities. If you provide these ones, you won't be talking about maybe a conference today or on politics coming up tomorrow, the basic things.
The problem of Nigeria is so enormous. If the federal government takes the care of unemployment, it will reduce a lot of problems on the road. It will, and every man is a devil workshop. If government can provide a sustainable job employment for a lot of undergraduates and graduates, that will be a problem. Everybody will be so busy. So when you have a job doing, you don't think about having problems. It is when you don't have anything doing, you start thinking of how to persuade problems, criminality, all over the place. But
so do you consider that failings of our politicians?
Yes, please. not failing as such. Some state governments are trying to make sure that they do employ people that are employable. Osun State, for example, are employing, they've done so well, they created a lot of programs at which they can employ our university graduates so that they will take them up the states. The same thing with Lagos. But the bulk of it is with federal government. If we could do and introduce so many areas like farming, agriculture, everyone should not be thinking of going to work in the bank.
But I think they've been following that to the extent that even last year, the focus for the NESG was on agriculture. And we've also seen what Hakeem Alobo-Bakare has been doing in that particular sector. Irrespective of party affiliation, he's been to so many states, especially in the Southwest. So to that extent, shouldn't we be commending the federal government?
Well, I'm not
trying to revive that particular sector?
He's doing his best. I'm not castigating him for not doing his best. Some of them are doing very well. Hakeem has been very fantastic. He's been doing very well. He's a man we should give our credits to. But you see, you can never do enough because we are kind of human being that want more at all times. But if you can address so few of these basic things, the employment, you see, the employment is very key. When you have people being employed, it reduces a lot of things. But when your youth are not employed, they sit down and think of so many difficult vices. But when you try to do, and government cannot employ everybody, we should get this right.
They're not meant to in the first place.
Agreed. We should think only what to do by ourselves so that we can get ourselves busy. So many things we can do without looking for jobs from the federal government and state government. But everybody wants to be employed by the bank, by the insurance company, but there is a limit that we could go.
What's your impression about the budget? How we come up with our budget, how we implement the budget as well?
Yeah, I'm not vast in economics, but the issue of the budget is if it's well implemented enough, we could achieve a lot of things.
What about avoiding this bickering between the executive arm of government and the National Assembly so that the budget can be passed and then on time and they start implementation?
It has been a problem in the past. They will come in by October or November to read the budget, but implementation takes second quarter. Once a budget is being presented by October, November, the implementation starts immediately after the new year. Having done that, it creates a lot of gaps, whereby implementation of budget takes second quarter. What was meant to be done in the first quarter goes to second quarter, and what was meant to be done in the second quarter goes to the third quarter. But if they can start implementing the budget early enough, there won't be any problem between the National Assembly and the executives.
Well, but what about the problems before the budget is even passed? That's a hurdle. I mean, the executive, I'm sure, wants to implement it on time, and I'm sure that the National Assembly too wants to get out of the way, but you always see the bickering between the two of them.
What has always been the problem is that when the executive presented the budget proposal to the National Assembly, the National Assembly always try to put some figures into it as well.
What do you think should be the case?
But they should harmonize it for the interest of Nigeria. They should have harmonized before you get to that stage. Actually, they have a problem between themselves. If it's not well harmonized, that's why they have a problem.
So do you see that happening in this 2014?
I think they've resolved that.
Alright, again, look at this. Musa says, look, Sokoto is no more born to rule. It's now written the caliphate, seats of the caliphate now. So I think it's been a long time you've been there.
I think so.
Okay. Hakeem Alobo-Bakare, political analyst, thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you.